I think what the Democratic Party can win on nationally is a focus on working people, was about the struggle that working people are facing. Willing to explain how this is relevant to working people. I think it has to stand for working people.
We got the working people part.
Well, I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but did you guys know that Zoran Mamdani, he really, really cares about working people. Working people. Working people. Working people. Focus on the working people. Even though virtually every single one of his policies seems to be benefiting people who are not working at all and are either homeless or, on every type of federal assistance or just illegal and just getting everything they want. But no, working people. Just say it was just like his first little magic trick. He's got his little mystic words that he uses with his hypnosis techniques, and he comes in and casts a spell. The first one was affordability. Affordability. Americans care about affordability. It was a magic word, and then, bam, he's mayor. That's all it took. Was just affordability. So anytime you hear campaign strategists out there talking about how, well, it's not just as simple as bullshit. Look at Zoran. Look at what Zoran did. He went from a shitty rapper doing horribly fucking edited videos and taco trucks to mayor by just saying working people and affordability over and over again. And then said some weird stuff about buses and free grocery stores from the state and all this other crap that he knew he couldn't do. But it didn't matter. The three important words and two important statements: working people and affordability. And I've noticed that all of his minions, all he's calling his minion candidates, they seem to have adopted similar techniques. They're not as skilled as Zoltar. They should put I wonder if maybe I need to watch like that scene again because Crowder plays it on his show all the time. But it's not even for this. But I'm just thinking, like, if you remember the movie Big and you remember the Zoltar machine, doesn't that kind of look like Zoran with like a genie cap on? I think it looks kind of like Zoran Mamdani. I don't know. Maybe I'm way off base. I have to look at it again just to make sure because I might be off on that. But I think it looks like him. Hello, everyone, and just get this over with because I'm sorry. Everything. I'm fucking pissed. I'm sorry. I'm fucking pissed. Everything sucks. Everything sucks. Everything sucked for days now. Everything's been fucking so screwed. I've been trying. I can't even tell you how many times I've tried to do a stream, and I've just ended up just running myself to the point of like mental breakdown, basically. And it's a combination of some complex things, some pretty simple things, and I'm getting them crisscrossed all over the place. And it's not because of the streams. It's not because of this. It's because of a lot of other stuff that is bleeding over into every single aspect of everything. So this is just one of the big casualties of it. And this is the most devastating, to be honest. But I don't want to get too much into it. I just want to apologize because I should... I even was... Goes to show, every time I do this, I eat my words, and I need to remember this because I was freaking talking about the very last stream I did that wasn't canceled or didn't have some technical error. Um, I was talking about how I don't think there'll be another long period of time in between shows again for a while at least, like those, several weeks to a month. And here we are sitting at just about 3 weeks almost exactly, and finally we got one up, and that's where I can't help it. It's stuff like that that makes me go like, there's no way that if that was it, okay, but like that it happens so many times with so many things, like like just the one thing you don't want to get ruined, the one thing I'm trying to make sure doesn't have a problem, or the one thing that I've been working on to make sure there's no issues. And I'm telling you, I had sessions where I was preparing to do the show and I wasn't quite ready, but I wanted to make sure everything was good. I set the setup up to record and to stream, and everything was running exactly the way it should. I tested the audio, I tested it again, I tested the video, I tested the cameras, I tested everything. And then less than an hour later, I go to do the show, and all the audio's out of whack, all the fucking videos are all out of whack, everything's out of whack. So I did, like, I tried so hard, so many times to do a show, and it just was not, this was not happening. And it's been incredibly devastating and frustrating, because it's just after getting some semblance of kind of not a good stable situation, but at least a stable situation going on for some significant period of time, then suddenly the whole rug comes out from underneath me, and it was like, oh, great. So I've been wrestling with that for over a week now, and it's just been a nightmare. But and I don't usually like doing shows this late, but I was, to be frank, sick and fucking tired of not doing the show. So here I am. And sorry I'm late. You guys probably end up watching this more likely than not after it goes live. So if you guys are watching afterwards, thank you very much. If you do happen to pop in tonight, of course, thank you very much. I appreciate anybody who stops in and take the time. And as I've always said, to make sure that everybody knows, I do recognize that you guys can spend your time watching just about anybody out there right now. And so just the fact that you would, I mean, time is a very precious resource right now for everybody. And so the just lending me your time to listen to what I have to say is very humbling, and I appreciate it very much. And I would, I always will say, if you can, I would love to be able to earn your sort of tip or a buck or two here and there for streams that if you guys enjoy the content. But if you can't, or you don't want to, or whatever, fine. I just appreciate that you are taking the time to watch the show. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And just getting that out of the way, because like I said, this has been an absolute devastating nightmare to get through this shit. So I'm taking some steps that should be able to hopefully ensure at the bare minimum, because I'm starting to notice. I did start to notice some patterns here, and I think I got the gist of the worst of it. So hopefully I'm right. MLA, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? But yeah, I think I've got the worst of it. As long as I can suppress that, should be good. I've also got some other ideas as far as there's one hardware issue that's been bugging me for a while. It's not just related to this. It's one that's been difficult for a long time to kind of work around, so I don't have to do anything else to make it more complicated. But that's kind of a bonus on top of everything else. The main thing is just when I was trying to figure out what was wrong, it was so hard to try and figure out. Turn up the mic. Okay, Can you hear me at all, or just not very loud? I have to make sure that I know that for a fact because I want to make sure I'm not. Oh, oh wait, no, that's not, okay. But yeah, am I just quiet or am I not coming in at all? Because I want to make sure I got this right. Just too quiet. Okay, all right. I think I know why. Actually, hold on. Okay, how's that? Oh, I'm blowing out a little bit, but I think that should that should do it. And that'll help too. As a matter of fact, it should. Um, so yeah, how are we doing now? We doing better? A little bit more? A little bit less? Just let me know. And I've been fiddling with some. That was one thing that was a little unclear as I was getting everything finished up today. Was levels. It was hard to. It's hard to get the audio actually from the computer audio in. It just turned out I was using the wrong source. Much better. Good. All right. Sweet. Yeah. I had the physical volume down too low. All the digital inputs were all up really loud, but the physical knob was needing some adjustment. So I think we're good. All right. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate that. So anyway, yeah. With that said, why don't we dive right into some of the more? Oh, actually, before I do that, real quick. By the way, MLA, I don't know. I'm sure you played, and sorry I didn't get a chance. I barely got to play at all, but I did get to play, and I have to say I stand corrected. Marvel Tokon was very, very impressive. I'm kind of shocked. I'm absolutely kind of flabbergasted, to be honest. I can't believe they managed to pull it off so well. It's I'll say this: it beats the hell out of a lot of Arc Sys releases as of the last few games they've released. Oh man, it was much better, and that was just with part of the cast. I can't wait to see Carnage. I want to see Carnage, man. I want to see Carnage in action. I want to see who was the other character I was looking at that was like, I don't remember who it was now. I know it's somebody else though. I heard talks of Mr. Sinister showing up too. Oh man, I hope that's true. Anyway, but I just wanted to mention that because I can guarantee you pretty much I'm going to be getting that on release. So yeah, that should be some fun. Anyway, so here's one problem with today's show because despite the fact that I haven't been doing shows, yeah, I know, man. Yep. I hope they. I want to see. I want to see Carnage. Is Ultron gonna be in the game? I can't remember. I thought I remember seeing him, but I can't remember. And jeez, who were some of the other? I'm gonna have to look through the cast. Oh, Loki! I can't wait to see Loki. I gotta see Loki. Goddamn! I usually hate Loki, but he looks. I can't help it. He looks awesome. I like him in Smite and Smite 2. He's really good in that game. Anyway, so like I was saying, considering the amount of time I've been off, I have gathered a lot of clips, and I mean a lot of clips, and it was. How do I? Oh, whoops! I forgot to dock this back. Hold on just a second. But anyway, I got clips all over the place on all sorts of different subjects, but there's one thing kind of standing above all that is going to be the focus of the episode today, but I don't know exactly how I want to start it, so I'm going to kind of peruse through what I have because um, yeah, I have to admit, I got much better with Spider-Man. The last set I played, I was playing like crap because I about about halfway through the weekend, I pushed it and I stayed awake for too long and I slept for way too long. Then after that, and I ended up with about the last 3 hours of the time it was open. I I kind of was like, okay, there's 3 hours left. I'm gonna just play what I got. But my final team was Star Lord, Blade, Magneto, Spider Man. That was my last team. Although I will say Spider Man was interchangeable for me with uh, who was it? Oh, Storm. Surprisingly, I was actually really impressed with Storm. Not many people use Storm either, but she was really good, really good. So anyway, um, I could go on about Marvel Tokon for a while. It just surprised the hell out of me. I was not expecting from Arc Systems works to after all the junk they put out lately, and not to mention the Blaze Blue tease of the new character there and the new character in Under Night, the I still am having serious problems with Guilty Gear because it's dumb. It's not Guilty Gear. But anyway, um, man, yeah, I'm getting off topic here. Let me get back on topic. So let me go through my because I just don't know where to start exactly. Let's see. But ultimately, like I said, the opening clip was a good tone setter because you see that kind of you can't find a better individual in an interview who sounds more like the sort of focus tested canned like bland like right down hitting every single talking point sort of coached candidate for the Democrat Party, but when he gets going on his own, however, then it's like uh-oh, that's when things start getting put out that maybe they maybe shouldn't be like his grand plan to arrest Bibi Netanyahu when he comes to New York. I swear, I don't know what it is with these fucking idiots, but you know, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Let's have the United Nations. It's the UN, right? Yeah. Let's have the United Nations coming to meet, and when they come to New York to meet, we're gonna have the mayor of New York come in with local police and arrest a foreign leader, not federally, not by our government, but by the state of New York for like what did Bibi Netanyahu exactly do to New York? I'm a little confused about that one. I don't think Mamdani even knows, but but he doesn't care. He doesn't need a reason. He just wants to arrest him. And meanwhile, Nick Shirley's public enemy number one for the left because how dare you expose all this Somali fraud going on in Minnesota and California and now Idaho apparently, like everywhere is. Oh man, and it's just we're becoming. It's becoming a situation where we have a group of clowns that are trying to interject themselves into professional politics, and one side is afraid of the clowns, the other side is like kind of so bewildered they don't even really know how to react to the clowns, except for the crowns. They might as well be the crowns. The clowns, they don't really know how to react except for to kind of just keep saying the same stuff they're saying, and it's weak as hell. Come on, Lay the freaking hammer down. Let's go. Magic is really good. Yeah, I will admit. Yeah, she was. I had a little bit of trouble. You know who I did like? I liked Danger. Danger was really good. I liked. I liked Danger. I liked. I even liked one of. I think it was Black Panther's abilities. There was Star Lord. No, no. Yeah. Star Lord, but his wasn't as good with the grenade. With the plasma grenade. But anybody that had an ability like Blade or Star Lord or Green Goblin, even I think didn't he have it? I know Spider Man did. The ones that froze you midair, and especially with Spider Man, it reminded me of Byakuya from Under Night. Man, that was some sick shit. But I swear too, in one of my last games, I was playing against this Miss Marvel. This dude was freaking good with her too, man. He was freaking insane. But um I finally landed this sick combo where you throw the stake on the knockdown, and then on the way down you get the attack, and then you do a jump cancel back down, and then oh man, it was sweet. So anyway, yeah, and you know what's crazy? One last thing I can say too. Um, I thought everybody was going to be playing Magneto, so I really was like, okay, I know it's going to have to be a character kind of similar, and it's going to be kind of a powerhouse, but really good, especially with zoning and who else? Well, Doctor Doom. Okay, I'll work on that. Then, like, not too long after the demo or the beta started, everybody all of a sudden switched to Doctor Doom, and I was like, what? Okay, I'm going back to Magneto. And it worked out good for me because I still worked. God, his command grab was so good. I'm gonna end up talking about freaking Tokon all night because of you, dude. Anyway, um, but yeah. So back to New York. Um, jeez, let me see. Let me find my folder real quick. Hold on. Here we go. So, uh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, we've got uh, Chinese dictator larpers. We got freaking Democrats using uh, racist accents again that they shouldn't be using to try and appeal to voter blocks that they're not a part of, and but they need that minority vote, damn it. So they want to connect. They need to be representing the people, meaning they have to be exactly like them in every single way, and they have to agree with them about every single thing they believe. Otherwise, and that's because when they're talking about a minority, when they say they mean all of them, because that's how the Democrats believe. It goes back to Biden. It goes back to Biden with if you have trouble deciding whether you're voting for me or Trump, then you're not black. Like obviously, if you're a black man, you're gonna vote for Joe Biden. The white guy who was racist his majority of his career and said some, even just before he became vice president, said some insanely racist shit back when that word actually meant something. Like you have the first well-spoken, well-dressed, and articulate man of color becoming the president. That's storybook, man. Like, well, he's right about the president part, but like, I don't know. Maybe he's never heard Larry Elder or Thomas Sowell or Ben Carson, any of the black leaders out there that actually give a shit about the black people that they're talking to, not just trying to pitch them some stupid campaign slogan. But yeah, it was really it was really revealing and repetitive over and over again with who knows how many members, the most infamous of which, of course, was Hillary Clinton and her weird, terrible accent of um, I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy. And now you got AOC doing her thing where she's like, and what's the most bewildering part of the whole thing is somehow, some way after that, she's actually now in the lead for the Democrat Party for her next candidate, which, to be honest, I don't even really want to think about because, um, let's say someone in what do you call it? Someone in the geez. Hmm. Hmm. Well, um, let me just find here. Let me find a clip that would be a good introduction for uh, like what kind of what kind of mood has been set, and we're going to be going over several things, but they're all kind of pointing to one thing, and there, believe me, there's a more literal. I hate to say it, it kind of sounds terrible, but it's true. There's a more literal meaning for the title of the episode. I'll get to that when we get to it, but because we're going to kind of work our way through the state of the country right now, because, whew, boy, oh boy, it's the tribalism is off the charts, and it is unbelievably vicious in how it's adopted and how its rhetoric is utilized to um, hmm, hmm. Jeez, that's funny. Anyway, okay. So where were we gonna start? Man, I don't even know because like the last episode, it was so long ago now that I don't even remember what I was playing. There was one clip, although it's not relevant at all. I might still play it because it's funny, but I'll get to that in a little bit. That's probably not the best start. Hmm. Let's see. Hmm. Hmm. Well, let's just start here. I have an idea. Let's just start where kind of would be um, somewhere obvious because um, so we got the situation in Iran. We have the situation in the sort of uh, like area around South America and sort of the Gulf of America as well. And we've got we got a lot of not abortion, uh, uh, immigration advocates who are still. That message is so ridiculous, and actually, mm, that might be a little rough segue, but we can kind of use it as a springboard. So, um, hmm. Because I gotta say, some people I know that some people are just stupid. Obviously, it's just stupidity, and they have no idea what they're talking about. But in a lot of cases, they do, and they just don't care because they know they're set one way or another. Which kind of blows me away when you hear all the complaints about taxes. And you know what? I have a great place to start. I have a great place to start. This is a good one. So this is kind of a little bit more recent, and I just got this a couple days ago, like I think yesterday actually, or maybe the day before. But so Tucker Carlson went on Stephen A. Smith's show. Now I know I honestly I don't usually talk about Stephen A. Smith. I don't hate the guy, but he's just wrong a lot, and he oh okay, I gotta kind of confess. There's one thing about Stephen A. Smith that really, really, really gets under my nerves, and that is when he starts going off like he has a point, and I just listen to him and I'm like, you sound like a fucking moron, and the points that you're making are all stupid points too. Like nothing about what you say or you said in that actual. Um, hmm, hmm, yeah. Hmm. 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 Well, okay, yeah. So let's go with this clip because this has got everything with Tucker and everything with Stephen A. Smith. And what you're gonna notice on this clip, I'll just say, watch how many times Tucker um, takes a question and turns it into an answer that has nothing to do with the question that he was asked. It's incredible, really. And Stephen A. Smith is the kind of interviewer whose short-term memory is not very good. So he doesn't even remember the fact that he is the one that asked the question, what the question was, and that answer had not one damn thing to do with anything that he asked. So this is an embarrassment. This is, I'm not going to call it a mask off moment because I hate that fucking term. But I'll say what this is for sure. It is sort of a formal declaration that. Hmm. Anyway, yeah. Just watch. Just watch. It'll make more sense after you watch it because, quite frankly, nothing makes sense until you watch this clown talk about it. So here, let's start with this, and then we'll. Oh, whoops! Hold on. We'll turn these off. Yeah. And there we go. Okay. Okay, and here we go. Now, is that now it's on? Okay. Hmm. 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 Okay. All right. All right. Fuck it. Screw it. Let's just do it. Did I find it? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not having second thoughts about it. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I know where I can. Yeah. Let's just go with this. I'm sure by the time I get done, I'll be pissed off so much that we'll be ready to go from there. But anyway, why can't I find it now? Ah, yeah, that's right. Okay, okay. Ah, yes, and that's another thing is this faux Christian sort of ethical perspective he tries to proclaim that he's standing up for when it's just like either you're full of shit or you're doing a very bad job at that goal because um, what exactly is it about the I mean yeah, it's more of an apology for your faith than any other kind of what do you call it hmm. Hmm. Well, anyway, let's just do this. Here we go. Is it open on the? No, not yet. Okay. Oh wait, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. Um. So here we go. We need volume, and that sounds like that's about. So, ready to have your mind blown by this super big brain thinker Tucker Carlson here? Because here we go. Oh, we're gonna be get your pad and pen out and start taking some notes because this is what you need to. This is what you definitely need to secure yourself a extremely wealthy living and. Hmm. Anyway, sorry about that. This got lost in train of thought there. So here we go. Let's go with this. Tucker is going to say a bunch of stupid shit, like usual. So, William. Oh, I went to see this. There we go. All right, here we go.
Crisis in the country, which has nothing to do with race and has to do with economics. And the people benefiting from the private equity scams and the crypto scams and all the other scams underway in the American economy, we don't really produce anything. We just lend money at high interest, sell real estate again and again. Those people are getting richer than everyone else, the billionaire class, and they don't want to deal with questions about how exactly this works. Why are they paying half the taxes that you're paying as a wage earner? Like, I don't really get that. And they don't want to have to defend it. So instead, they're like, the real problem is race. And these whites are just bad, and they've taken all the stuff. Well, actually,
I have no idea where that came from. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know where the data for that assessment came from. When there's been multiple economic studies done into taxes, tax rates, tax brackets, different types of earnings based on uh, the level of skill it takes to learn the competency of the. Yeah, man. Hmm. 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 So I'm sorry. I'm trying to, let me get to some more of this, and then I'll figure out how to kind of tie this in together because this gets worse and worse as it goes on. It's it's not pretty. But anyway, go ahead and oh, never mind. Anyway.
if you look at the numbers, that's insane. One of the biggest groups of poor people in this country is white. Are they privileged? I don't think they are. So, like, it's not about race. We should treat all American citizens equally. That's the whole point of the civil rights movement. That's the whole point of the Constitution. And we're not, and we should. And then just say, look, It's not about ignoring the crimes of the past, which we should not do. We should never lie about anything. It's just about being honest about what's actually happening. And the real problems stem from the way our tax code is structured. And most people don't even think about it because no one in the media ever talks about it.
Oh.
It's like, really? So if I invest money, I pay half the tax rate.
Now, I will give Stephen A. Smith a little bit of a pass on this. This is definitely not his area of expertise at all. So maybe in his mind, this sounds kind of insightful. In actuality, though, the fact of the matter is, like, you can go to any conservative or even libertarian, even most centrist sort of people who are honest about the state of the country and look at the tax information and what kind of rate they're charged based on their income level and well, anyway, let's get back to this because there's another misdiagnosis of the problem, and here we go into the really deep territory where it's really bad. But anyway, go ahead, Tucker. Tell us what's wrong. Keep going with it. It's sounding really great so far.
As if I go to work. So are we saying that it's twice as virtuous to invest or to get inherited money as it is to have a job? That's what we are saying. Because we tax things we want to discourage. That's why cigarettes are expensive. So, like, are you really going to say with a straight face that you're like twice as good a person because you inherited money?
Okay, I gotta go off on this. This is bullshit. This is absolutely ridiculous. First of all, he acts like the stock market is just something that rich people do to get wealthy. Over 50% of Americans are invested in some way in stock market. That may be just through 401k or IRA, but over half the country is invested in the stock market. Not obviously half the country is wealthy. Like there's a lot of middle class and even low income families that have some money set aside into some basic stocks just to have some guaranteed return on investment. And I told you guys before, business and finances, that's not my area of expertise. But the idea that it's just this place for people to go and sell and buy and make money, that's the most realistically dumb jeez. That's exactly what we end up. We that's exactly what you tax the Anyway, so yeah, I'll go back to this in a second to kind of prove the overarching point, but overall, this is such a misleading statement because of just the idea that well, you know, let me just clear this one part up because this is kind of important. I don't want to gloss over this. So, when you start a business, and if you have if that business is successful enough to bring it to to where it's not privately traded and it's also publicly traded, first of all, that in and of itself is a sign of success. However, here's where the importance of the stock market itself comes into its this is even solid state logic. Oh man, that's one of those things. Yeah, definitely get that. I hope fixed it. Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's go back to this because, um, this guy. Yeah, here we go. Let's go back.
I mean,
throw
I
that
hate
out about
defending
you.
myself. I mean, it's just I mean, these are people who are taking money and direction from a foreign government,
Oh
accusing
boy,
me
here
of
we
the
go.
same. And the truth is, I don't have a home in Doha. I don't
Okay.
own anything in Doha. I've never taken money from the Qataris or any other government. I don't even have a bank loan. I have no investors. I have no debt. You know, my opinions, you may not like them, but they're mine because I have no control over me at all. And I own my
Oh, that's definitely true. However, um, I think you had control when you're on stage with your celebratory party of sobriety or something. Hmm. Mhm. Mhm. Well, okay. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me get back to this. I'm trying to think of. I think maybe I should just let it play all the way through and then get to the points because I think there's too many rapid fire. It's hard to keep up. And then I'm gonna keep pausing and pausing and pausing it and forgetting the point.
company with my college roommate. So that's the extent of my financial life. It's, I don't, you know, whatever. But you know what? I would say this Qatar, I love Qatar. I really like Qatar.
Oh,
Appreciate the
I
fact
bet you
that you're
do.
willing to tackle any issue, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you for
Oh,
the conversation. Let me ask you this, just a few more questions
that's
before I let you
Stephen A.
go.
Smith
I'm
asking for
thinking
you.
about the Nick Fuentes interview, for example, and I wanted to
Oh,
transition a little
yeah.
bit to this because I'm wondering about where the line.
Here's where things get really interesting. And look at his face. Look at his face. He's like he's already prepared. He looks like he got so much older right there too. He looks like he's turning into Walter Matthau or something. Like it, man. God, I mean that's it's dark. But he's you can tell by his tone when he says he's clicked 5 and 6. Um, hmm, 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 hmm. That seems like that's strange. There should have been more there. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Um,
Line is between exposing extremism and normalizing it when you have somebody like him
oh
that
boy.
you had on your show. I remember people were criticizing you. I didn't watch the interview. I saw clips of it, but I didn't watch the whole interview in its entirety. And I remember people accusing you of being quite soft on them, even though I can't imagine you being that guy. But that's what they were accusing you
Oh,
of, and they were saying stuff like that. But we know some of the things that people have felt he said, and some of the positions that he has taken from a generic perspective. Extremism compared to
what the
normalization.
fuck is he talking about
Where
now?
does Tucker Carlson draw that line in the sand, particularly considering the position that you're in now and the kind of influence you wield?
I think it's really important not to normalize extremism and to call it out by name and to say, to just frame this correctly. Like what you're saying is crazy and extreme. I think it's super important to say that because otherwise it's like, oh no, this is normal. And I think one of the most extreme human beings I've ever met in my entire life was Lindsey Graham. And I would say
Oh, well,
maybe the
here
second
we
most
go.
extreme I've ever met is Ted Cruz, both U.S. senators. Lindsey Graham unfortunately passed away recently. Ted Cruz still represents Texas. These are people who have called for murdering innocents at scale, bombing people who did
No,
nothing wrong, killing
they
kids,
haven't.
and have done that for
No,
like
they
decades,
haven't.
who have openly called for
Okay, hold on. Now we're getting into the really egregious shit where I just like, no. You may disagree with the policy. You may disagree with the war. You may disagree with the way it's being fought, and you may disagree with the people that are making the proposals. But if you're gonna, so anyway, basically the point is that this idea of um, Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham ordering the deaths of people in other countries, ordering the deaths of children in other countries. That's not how a strike uh, planned by the United States military. They don't sit around deciding unless it's a high value target who they're trying to eliminate, like a Bin Laden or a Saddam Hussein or whoever it is that is like even Khomeini and the the Iranian backed what you call it. Um, but yet, so he's getting into this pretty heavy territory here by making these accusations, and once again, it boggles my mind how this is what really is at the core of this that really upsets, it really infuriates me, and because if you're going to be mad at Israel or the United States or anyone that supports this country or supports the United States and the West in this conflict, and you have some reasons that you laid out, okay, lay them out. And if if they're something beyond belligerent anger that never makes much sense, then okay, well, here, let's get back to this. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long time. I'm trying to get my groove back, and oh man, it's been a nightmare. So I might have to do sort of impromptu shake up. But here, let's get back to this, and we're about to drop the really insane claims now. So here we go. Boy, brace yourself. Brace yourself for me too.
the U.S. government and American citizens to be more loyal to a foreign country than to their own,
Oh,
who have called for banning Americans' right to criticize a foreign country, eliminating free.
No, they haven't done that either. That's bullshit. They've called for removing people here who are on tourist visas or on educational visas, meaning they're here in the country to learn at a American college, and in order to do so, you have to fill out an application that goes over like you would normally go over your history and your let's see, it was oh wait, yes, so Yeah, sorry guys. Let me get back to this. I just, oh man, this everything's working, but man, it took a long time to get here, and I didn't realize the relief was going to be exhausting. Anyway, let's keep going. We'll go with this a little bit longer. I don't know. I might have to continue this tomorrow, um, but let's see what happens. Let me see if I can get through this at least, because man, this pissed me off so bad when I saw this. Okay. Yeah. Let's. There we go.
Speech on behalf of a foreign nation. You can criticize your own country, totally fine. You don't want to criticize a foreign country.
Bullshit.
That's
Bullshit.
so crazy
Bullshit.
that I can hardly believe it's happening. And nobody says
It's not happening.
So you'll go and you'll interview Lindsey Graham, or I interviewed Ted Cruz last year, and people are like, "Oh, no one is like, I can't believe you're sitting with that wacko extremist Ted Cruz, who's literally called for murdering people, and by the way, has helped murder people. He's a United States senator. He's not a podcaster.
What?
He votes for things. He appropriates money. That guy has blood on his hands, the blood of countless innocents, but it's totally cool to sit with him.
Oh man.
How does that work? I don't understand. Not one person has ever said, I can't believe you sat across from Ted Cruz. If you're committing genocide, which Israel currently is in Gaza.
Oh boy.
And genocide is, we have an international definition of it, which everyone signed on to up until about 20 minutes, until Israel started committing it. And it is the systematic effort by a government.
Okay, jackass. Let's go over this a little bit. Let's take the. Now you really pissed me off. Let's just evaluate the facts, shall we, Mr. Genocide? Okay, all right. Systematic eradication of a population, something to that effect. That's what it is. Okay. Well, you got two problems there. Got two major problems there, you dumb shit. Number one, Israel's got nukes. If they wanted to systematically annihilate a entire group of people, they could just use that little device that they have that is guaranteed to kind of wipe out everything and leave the area in a nuclear winter. For basically a radiated hell zone for, like, I don't know, what's Chernobyl like this time of year? Is it clean and beautiful? Nah, the radiation's crazy. But secondly, and you got another big problem like this. Let's put the nuke aside and let's pretend we're operating in conventional warfare, and that's what they wanted to do. And yet we got tons of reports, that I know you hate to hear it. I know you just get so angry when you hear about it. But yes, there were indeed aid centers set up by the United States and by Israel that were sabotaged, because of course they were, because they wanted to be looked at as terrible and evil. Even though the people of Gaza seem to appreciate it quite a bit, because the ones that, I don't know, apparently you think are benevolent leaders there, I guess, the terrorists, Hamas, weren't letting them have any of the food, even though the food was coming for the population, not for the terrorists, but for the population. They hijacked the truck. Now we're hearing they just pulled the truck driver out, shot him, took the truck, drove it in, took it down into the tunnels and feasted. They even let the hostages they took from Israel cook the food for them while they starved them to death. That's real nice. But here's the main problem here. If that was the case, I think we'd be seeing some results by now. This has been going on for quite a while, Tucker. And what's been going? Oh, that's right. Their population has increased. That's right. It's increasing. God, they fucking suck at genocide, don't they? Man, if they were really trying to genocide, or maybe, now hear me out, just maybe it's not that they suck at genocide. Maybe that's not what they're trying to fucking do, you dipshit. Holy hell. Like, look at all the facts surrounding the situation, and you still come to this conclusion. They're trying to genocide the Palestinians. Yeah, they're trying to genocide the Palestinians. The irony is so thick. I was just thinking about this the other day, too. It's because the left are such fucking... I don't know if they're trying to just rub it in people's face that they can do it. or if they're really so psychotic and manipulative and evil that they actually believe it. But like they sit back and call Donald Trump Hitler for what? Oh, white supremacy and a bunch of other nebulous random bullshit that they can't really define. They don't know what a dictator is. They don't know what totalitarian is. They don't know what authoritarian is. They kind of sometimes know that one, but that one's obviously a little bit more easy. But you know, they sling all these words at him. What is probably the number one reason that people regard Hitler as one of the most dangerous and evil leaders in history? Is it because of just World War II? No, that was pretty evil, but no, was it just because of World War II? Was it because of what he did to what he did to Britain? No, he did a pretty good number on Britain there with Blitzkrieg for a while, but no, that wasn't it either. What was... Oh, I remember. It was what he did to the Jews. That's right, the Jews, the concentration camps, and the millions of Jews slaughtered. So we call Donald Trump a Hitler for nothing. Meanwhile, we're going to call the Jews responsible for a genocide of a bunch of people that are literally trying to eradicate the entire Jewish state and murder every Jew in the state because it is written into their holy book that they are to take back their holy territory that belongs to them. I guess, even though it was, a few thousand years late, I guess, to their claim. But if we're getting into the subject there, I mean, no one is illegal on stolen land. So I guess the Israelis would be, in that case, they better be more than welcome, because they're stealing the land. And even if they're stealing it back, they're still stealing it. So, and I'm not even conceding that they're stealing it back. I think that would be just theft. Because who is it that keeps leaving territory? Oh, that's right. Once again, who is it? It's the Jews and it's the Israelis that keep handing over territory in this stupid, ignorant idea that these people are interested in land. They're not interested in land. Have you seen the Arabian... The Muslim territories in the Arab region of the world? It takes up the whole damn thing, except for this one little tiny space down there it's called Israel. And guess what? They're carving that place up to... It's so fucking ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And call me a Zionist, call me whatever you want. I really don't give a shit. I don't care what kind of terms you slap on me. I think this is just, to me, it's just more incredibly insane. We haven't done anything particularly crazy in this situation that we haven't done 20 times over in much more extreme ways in every other conflict that we've been involved in the last my entire lifetime. And yet in this situation so I just heard somebody going into this outrage, and once again, I don't mean to downplay this. I'm just saying, somebody near belligerent talking about how 18 service members have died already in this conflict. 1,800, 18,000, no, 18. Okay, that sounds like a weekend in Chicago. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? How is that literally every conflict I can think of has had way more than that in much shorter time. Like the first couple of weeks in Iraq was like 7,000, something like that, or was that total? It was at least a couple thousand. Once again, I'm not every soldier, every American citizen lost, every American soldier lost is a tragedy. But don't go using that as your fucking cudgel. To go, I heard somebody trying to weaponize this as well. When Donald Trump said they know what they're signing up for. That's not justification, you fucking sick fuck. That's not justification. That's meant to be a statement to remind the citizens what a heroic individual this is. This is somebody who knew what he was getting into and did it anyway for the sake of his country. That's not to save his own ass. It's to highlight the selflessness of the American troop, of the American soldier, of how absolutely unflinching and unwavering they are in the face of danger when it comes to the defense of their country, which, once again, sorry, if you think that Iran having nukes is not a threat to the United States, you're fucking crazy. And oh man, it drives me up the wall when I hear this kind of ridiculous ad hominem bullshit that is like let's get this straight. Now Israel is like the Nazis. Trump is like Hitler, and the Hamas is like the Jews, and the Muslims are like, well, no, Hamas is like I guess let's say what's that, Poland, and the Jew, the Muslims are like the Jews. And that's how backwards ass, topsy-turvy, ridiculous this situation has become. That's how fucking far off of the radar we've got. And we've got jackasses like this moron who's sitting around talking about this with a straight face, lying about his fucking... He got on a mic proudly announcing his purchase of property in Qatar. And now he's saying, I don't own property in Qatar. I've never spent any money. I haven't invested any money in Qatar. Okay, first of all, they're talking about the home that you announced you bought in Qatar. So I'd love to hear how you changed your mind. You sell it after you buy it. Are you trying to be a landlord? I don't get it. I don't get it. How'd that come about? Number one. And number two, what the fuck does investing money, like, what are you investing in Qatar? By just per chance, would you care to enlighten us? Or no, of course not. I don't know what happened with this guy, but he seems like, and no, don't get me started on the demon shit. He didn't get attacked by a demon. I think what he's seeing is himself acting like an asshole to a bunch of people, and seeing how demonic he's become, and maybe having some sort of reflexive remorse from that. And that's a theme that you see a lot through people like this. There's a phenomena highlighted from early days of internet trolling called troll remorse, where as people start to reach their middle age and start to get more mature, they look back on all the trolling they did when they were younger, and if they really were somebody who trolled a lot, they can get very, very openly hostile to internet trolling and the whole concept, and places where trolls get like 4chan, 8chan, and places like that. They can really demonize those places because they see all the negative things that they did, and they kind of impose all that stuff onto a group when they have no, way to really compare it. Now, I'm not saying that they're doing anything good. I'm just saying that that's not fucking proof. I'm sorry, there's nothing that's provably real about that sort of analogy. Whereas, in the same vein, you hear a guy like this who has been constantly constantly saying that he is only concerned about about America's well-being. It's like, okay, I don't see it, because it's hard to even come up with the man. Hmm. God. But I'm sorry. I hear it and I'm just it's hard to process because of the dynamic we're talking about here and when you look at the way that like Tucker was criticizing the pager strike. He was criticizing the pager strike because he was making the argument we don't know who was holding on to that pager at any given point in time. It's like, okay, even if you're going to take that at face value, one major question there that would be a little bit of a hiccup and a bit of a problem as well. Um, hmm, hmm. Anyway, let's get back. Finish this nonsense that he's going to keep saying. It's just incredible how much the acceptance of disgusting shit has gone into territory like this. And I got something that's very interesting to show you right after this one because this is priceless. But anyway, go ahead, asshole. Let's go. And once again, like I said, Stephen A. Smith. I don't hate the guy, but this is not the kind of conversation that he's equipped or suited for. I'm sorry. This is not his area of research or you know, I don't know how even much it is area of interest to him where he is really super excited to even. Hmm. 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 Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's get back to this. This is gonna be a weird. This is gonna be a weird one. I'm gonna have to figure out how to.
to eliminate a people. And I don't have to guess about this because Israeli cabinet ministers and the prime minister of Israel repeatedly have said that's their goal. They describe the
Yeah.
Palestinians as Amalek. I'll refer you to the Old Testament or Hebrew scriptures, whatever you want to call it, our Bible and theirs, in which Amalek is the Amalekites. And that's the group that God tells the ancient Hebrews to kill. All
And that's his big reason why he believes there's a genocide going on, because in Congress in Israel, they referred to Hamas and to Palestinians as Amalek, and in the Torah, that there was a command from God to kill the uh, the people of the region that he just was talking about. I was so completely dumbfounded by the stupidity of that. I just didn't even know where to start. So are these descendants of these Amaleks you're talking about here, Tucker, or is this a totally different group, totally different time period, totally different reason, totally different situation, totally different everything? And they used a word in the Hebrew Bible to unite the Jewish fucking country. Like, what are we talking about here? Jeez. This is so dumb. It's so stupid. It's like, we killed all. We told everyone that this was. I can't think of a. Damn. We do kind of need to pop out anyway. Oh man. Anyway. Man. Anyway, let's finish this. There's not much left of this, so we'll just go through the rest of this, and I'll see if I can go through any more. I'm surprised that
Of them,
I got too
including
excited
their
about
children,
this.
their babies, and their livestock. And the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has used this phrase multiple times, not just randomly once, again and again and again in speeches.
Yeah.
And so have his cabinet
That
ministers,
proves it.
finance minister.
Tucker Carlson, in 2021, you probably wrote that you hated Trump passionately. You later supported him in 2024. So here's the question. Why should listeners see this latest break as principle rather than another pivot on your side, on your part? How do you answer that?
Well, I've had many pivots, and I've already explained two of them. I was wrong.
Yes, you have.
Because I'm wrong a lot, I guess. I mean, I flatter myself and say I'm not wrong a lot, but I certainly am wrong sometimes, and wrong on big things. I was wrong on Trump, and I was wrong on the Iraq War.
And you were also
sure, a million
wrong
other things.
on
But
a
anyway,
few other things
I don't
too.
know
You were
what to
wrong
say.
on about whether or not you did call open the question, is Trump the Antichrist? And you said no, I didn't say that. You're wrong about that too. You might say that you were lying about that because you're a sack of shit, but who am I to judge there? But there's being wrong and then there's lying. Let's not conflate the two. And I think, in all honesty, if we're being totally upfront about this, with all the freaking ties it turns out that you have to JD Vance, I hope that JD is smart enough to keep you at arm's length. I really do, because the last thing he needs is some fucking fluffer that's going to come in and try to, basically influence a guy who's already got a really strong moral character and principles of his own, come in with some fucking charlatan who's a snake oil salesman at this point, and basically have him undermine everything he's doing by. He's already got family members and acquaintances and people all over the freaking vice president's office, and it's just like, what are you trying to do here? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Because like the guy, like Stephen A. just said, I will give him credit for this. He at least held his feet to the fire for at least. He should have followed up again, because that was not really a very good answer. I was wrong. So you're wrong. You were wrong for a really long time after you were right apparently before about how he's evil, and that was after January 6th, where he apparently, did he call for that, Tucker? Because I remember you advocating for Ashley Babbitt for quite a while, but now I'm sure that's a no-no, because your new friends definitely don't want to hear about that one. But what are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, this is pathetic, and it's unreal. Anyway, we'll keep going with this, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
People can judge whether I'm sincere or not. I don't really know
Oh,
what I'm getting
yeah.
out of this, actually.
Yeah, not getting anything out of this except for brand deals, except for, God. I mean, here's the thing. This is something that I've noticed in other industries when you go from the world of mainstream and broadcast and regulated, like things like the FCC, or different types of agencies that are involved in entertainment. And then you go into the indie world, and then you have to kind of just make it off of your own strengths. I think a lot of people, including myself, were very hyped about Tucker being out on his own because it was kind of like this idea, based on everything we could see, that that when Tucker's show came on, and a lot of people have been saying this lately, that the monologue from Tucker at the beginning of the show was one of the best moments of weeknights when you would watch Fox and see that late night bracket come up. Tucker's monologue was always really good, but it's been kind of talked about more now that we don't really know, but it seems like there may have been more creative control and more input from staff writers and people who are really good at presenting points, and Tucker just happened to be the guy that, when presenting them, came across as a legit, honest, average American guy, just promoting pro-American values. Nothing suspicious there. Then he gets out on his own, and it doesn't start right away. It doesn't start right away at all. In fact, right away, it seems more like it is going to be a little more of the same. I remember early conversations with, people like, didn't Jordan Peterson come out? Well, I mean, Clay Higgins did a great interview. There's Stephen Sund, the Capitol Police Chief after 9/11. Jeez, January 6th. There's a lot of good sources. It seemed like there was going to be like investigative journalism, actual boots on the ground, not boots on the ground in Iran, boots on the ground in the country. We needed someone like Nick Shirley to do that, apparently, because Tucker is too busy, getting into fights with the Israelis and Mark Levin, and couldn't really care less about the fraud being perpetrated by the Somali population. If he's so concerned about Christians, he doesn't ever seem to mention what's going on in Africa with all the Christian populations that are being butchered by these barbaric pieces of garbage down there. Nobody on Tucker Carlson's network seems to really ever want to really talk about that endeavor. Instead, they'd rather bring in weird, fat, round, buck-toothed, freaking weirdo nuns that are related to Jake Tapper to tell them how pro-Christian it is in the West Bank. And oh, Lord. It's just like, I wouldn't, left says shit like this all the time. I expect it from them. The way that this guy pivoted so quickly into this insane, ridiculous stuff it's absolutely beyond comprehension. There's no real explanation until somebody actually gives somebody one. Because, to be honest, like, what in the hell is it that's going to happen that someone's going to be able to do to get that out of him, unless they catch him on a hot mic or something when he's saying something weird, which I don't even know if he'd admit it. Who knows? He might not admit it. But whatever. You see basically everything you need to see. It's not like it takes a brain surgeon to figure it out. I don't think I switched back to the... Well, you heard the discussion anyway. It's fine. So, yeah, it's... it really is kind of a shock. But at this point, there's yeah, I kind of saw this and I was like, this is just a perfect example of what Tucker is now. Now, some people have fallen harder than others. Some people have not quite fallen nearly as bad. But there's still a sort of call it there's still a sort of feeling of that they're trying to see if this fits or not. Like I don't know. Not everybody's all in as much as some people are. Although there are those that are just as hard and more so even. But I found this hilarious, and I'm just gonna play this next. I realize I'm probably gonna have to just do two more clips because if this I went into this after a long day of trying to fix this shit. Finally got it fixed. Finally got this working. I was a little too gung ho, a little too excited. It came in a little too hot, and I wore myself out a little too much. But I could make it through this easy enough. Just a couple more clips because these are the perfect kind of afterthought to that. So this one blew my mind. This one blew my mind for just one reason. Now, first off, you guys know what I think about Nick Fuentes. I don't really I really don't pay much attention to him. I know so many people that have been close to Nick or personally have been friends with Nick that have essentially undermined everything that he tries to present himself to be, and then he's kind of written it off as if it was a betrayal. It's like, okay, well, what about all the parts about how you aren't really Christian, you don't really observe any of the Christian tradition. In fact, you mock them. It seems like, and what's all this weird kind of obsession with people around, especially your only friends, your guy friends, because he doesn't want to. I would understand if a guy was like, I don't want to have any friends that are female. I'm saving myself for marriage. I don't want to be tempted to do anything before I got married. Okay, I can see that. I can understand that. But when you get to the level of if anyone around me has any kind of sexual interaction with females, they can't be my friend, and I'm going to make sure I find out, even if I have to buy a black light and search their room for any stains that might be left behind to do it. And that's where the nickname Nick Fuentes, the Cum Detective, came from. Yes, in fact, that is in fact exactly where the name came from. Nick Fuentes and his former roommate Jaden was in a bit of a tizzy by the time he threw out Jaden from his little rented room that is from his parents' property that he was allowing somebody to stay. I don't remember the arrangement exactly, but the important part is that while Nick was busy taking photos of Jaden while Jaden was asleep, and he's sitting on the couch next to this sleeping guy, and then all these accusations all the time about how you're having sex, you're having women over, aren't you? And Jaden's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm. It's like, and bear in mind, Jaden is like, from watching the videos, he's a pretty freaking. He's a pretty straight up dude. He's a pretty straight up and honest guy. So I don't disbelieve him for a second. But the real hilarious part is that because he couldn't get any kind of answer that he wanted to get, like I said, what did he do? Well, he wanted to get that proof. So his grand plan for getting the hmm. Somebody knows what she's doing. Anyway, so yeah, the reason I bring that up is after hearing that diatribe about all those things that Tucker apparently believes very strongly now, here's a little video from someone who, well, everyone had such a big opinion of when Tucker was interviewing him, whether it was good or bad. This was such a big deal. Let's see what he has to say about the current situation and the American response to it. That's the important part about this. Because, like I said, this guy's not my sort of guy. Every once in a while, he does something like this, and I have no choice but to be like, okay, respect. I respect the dude enough to be like, yeah, when he's right, he's right. He was right after Charlie Kirk, and he's right about this one too. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to Mr. Nick Fuentes, and let's see what Mr. Nick Fuentes has to say about what is going on in this country when it comes to allies of Israel and allies of the United States, and where there's issues that are becoming either wedge issues or Anyway, I'm sorry. Let me get to this clip. I'm gonna keep spacing out, but let me get to this clip, and then we'll wrap up with something equally as interesting. But and just bear with me, because man, this has been a long day, long day. And I don't want it to be over yet because I wanted to really freaking drive this home, but I'm gonna have to drive it home as best I can with the energy I got left. So, where is that? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So where the hell did it go? It's in here somewhere. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So. Oh, wait. No. That's not that one. It's a different one. Next episode, I'm gonna have to show you the Javier Milei interview, or at least a segment of it. It's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. It's gotta be up above that. Okay, where the hell is it? And I know I just watched it before I turned on the show today, so I know it's here. That'd be near the top. You know what the hell is this? I'll just do this. Oh, no. There it is. I'm glad I did it that way. That was never. Okay.
What changed in 2024 and 2025 is it became really in vogue and really popular for people to talk about Jews in Israel in a negative way, also just to talk about conspiracies in general. Suddenly, that became the grift. And it attracted people that were looking for notoriety, people that were looking to build a social platform. How do we know this? Well, look at Jackson Hinkle. Jackson Hinkle, I think, gained like 3 million Twitter followers in 9 months. What explains the explosion in engagement for people criticizing Israel? No one's going to like to hear this. You're going to call me a grifter, you're going to call me a shill, you're going to say controlled opposition, switch sides. Honest to God truth, this is the truth. Probably it was being driven from foreign countries and the left. That's just true. Why, oh why, all of a sudden did it become supercharged? If you criticize Israel on Twitter, boom, 100,000 likes. You could literally tweet Israel, 100,000 likes. Did everyone in America all of a sudden start hating Israel? Well, some people did, but I think it was driven in part, or maybe a lot, by the Muslim world, which is very engaged online because they were the ones at war with Israel, because Palestine is their regional cause. So I think a lot like Jackson Hinkle, how many of his 3 million followers that he gained in those 9 months, how many of them came from the United States of America? And so
Oh, whoops.
suddenly, anybody that wanted to blow up and be, you know, what's the hot topic? What's the woke take right now? What's the edgy take? What's the take that's going to get me the most notoriety? It's on Israel. It's joining the Israel critical cause, you know, being a Jew conspiracy theorist. They were milking it for everything it was worth. Here's what I mean by this. If tweeting Israel critical sentiment gets them engagement and money, then like a mouse or a cat or any animal in one of these experiments, if they press a button and get a treat, they're trained that this is what they're going to do every single day. So if I'm an influencer on Twitter, how do I get my reward? How do I get my treat? I press the button every day. JFK said Hitler's spirit will rise from the grave. Israel. Jews did everything. And if we're not getting the same reward, press the button harder, press the button twice, press the button 12 times, slam the button. So it just got louder and louder. Oh, well, it started with, I think we should be able to criticize Israel. Then it turned into, well, fuck Israel. Then it turned into, well, it's all Jews. Then it turns into, well, Hitler did nothing wrong. Then it turns into, Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Israel's behind ICE. Israel's why we extradited Maduro. And I think that basically that is what happened.
I hate to say it, man, but when you're right, you're right. And when Nick Fuentes is right, Nick Fuentes is right. I got to give it to him. And regardless, that's the point. Regardless of what you feel, because here's the thing. Nick has been very critical of Israel the entire time I've seen him on social media. Going back to 2016, 2015, first time I saw him even at all on any kind of online platform debating, it was on Israel, and it was anti-Israel sentiment. This was not him being influenced by anybody to say anything about Israel or Jewish people or anything like that. He's always had the same sort of outlook. However, I think that even in this circumstance, when he looks at the Islamic world, and I think he's maybe hopefully starting to recognize this fact that when it comes to manipulation of the electorate, manipulation of the common American perspective, and when it comes to propagandizing people by use of fear tactics about a group of people that you are actually close to, But because you're close to, that's the negative that you're going to present. That's when you uh, yeah, that's when you start to really like ground out the last vestiges, like any kind of. It's just weird. I don't know. You're starting to get to the heart of what the problem is, and you know, you may have legitimate criticisms about the way that Israel's government is run. You may not like spending that's done, but like compare that with our relationship with I don't know, pick a Jordan or like Egypt. Like, have these countries really done anything? No. Have they shown any interest in help? No. They may want to join in if there's some sort of self-preservation that comes along with it, but they're not going to do anything whatsoever to show goodwill to the United States um, by putting anything that they have at risk. Which brings us to the final clip I wanted to end on, because we're talking about manipulation of the people, which we're gonna have to get into on a much bigger scale on the next episode, because I really want the next show is going to be about Congress. It's going to be about the Senate. It's going to be about the upcoming midterms, and it's going to be about not really just the candidates that are running on the Democrat ticket. It's just going to be more about look at what is happening. Look what's become of the United States Senate and House. Look at what the bodies have been reduced to at this point, and look at what, like, basically, like, absolutely feckless, near worthless bodies they are, because of the fact that they don't do anything, because the process is broken down because of willfully using it as a political tool to hold hostage entire groups of people for no reason. It's, oh man, it is infuriating. It's infuriating to see. Yeah. Well, in any case, so there's been a big stir when it comes to not just the races for the Senate and the House, but a handful of races for governor and state positions. And of course, one of the hot spots has been, of course, California. And being from California, I know this. And I've been watching the events post, because, let's face it, after January 6th, you're never going to be able to run a post-election, if you're on the right, of course. If you're on the left, it's going to be totally fine. But you're never going to be able to question on the right the validity of election results, even if, like, right now they're still counting the ballots because they didn't really give a shit when they got sent in, as long as they were voting for Karen Bath or Bath. Yeah, Bath. Karen Bass or Nithya Raman. Now, let's see what happens when we go a step further here. Yes, snow too. Okay. Anyway, so when it comes to the electoral race in California, for first the mayor of Los Angeles. Which, when you look back at that situation, you look at the events that played out. You have Nithya Raman on stage the night of the election, crying her eyes out, so disappointed. We did the best we could, and a couple weeks later, she's out here talking about how great it was that they won, how it shows the will of the American people is going to prosper no matter what. Now, wait, hold on. Which American people are you talking about here? Because obviously, not the ones that. Oh man. But because of that, there's a. Oh no. So anyway, Spencer Pratt though was in the lead and in the lead for a second slot, and so the runoff would have been Karen Bass versus Spencer Pratt. The machine did not want him involved. They definitely didn't want him involved, and they sure as hell don't want Steve Hilton involved. Now, one big problem that they have is that Javier Becerra is their leading candidate, and the guy is hmm. Hmm. What was he? Well, anyway, so Steve Hilton has come out and talked about this a little bit, and he's starting to lean in a little bit more because um, it's kind of clear, and it's really surprising. Spencer Pratt has still got a pretty strong following behind him. They recognize. I think if there was one good thing that came out of this, it is starting to get people to pay attention and kind of open their eyes up and really question: is it really? I mean, a lot of us out there have already recognized that this is just beyond the pale. It was in 2020, and it is now. But the um, hmm. So let's see here. So anyway, the point is that Steve Hilton has gone on a number of shows and talked about how it was really a travesty that Spencer Pratt had been done so egregiously wrong, and that there's no way that the guy who was handily beating Nithya Raman, easily going into the runoff with Karen Bass, how that guy somehow um, hmm. Hmm. Maybe I should wait till the next one to do this one. No. I want to do this one now because this is good. This is so. when it comes to AI technology and the way that people have been using it, there's some clever stuff, there's some stupid stuff, there's some malicious stuff, and then there's stuff like this that is just, it sends the message that is effective and spot on, but is so freaking hilarious at the same time. It's too good. It's too good, and it's amazing what is capable to be done with AI at this point already. So even though even though Spencer Pratt is officially supposedly out of the race, and he's not going to be mayor of Los Angeles, and even though it looks bleak for Steve Hilton, I think one thing, and the one thing that really would be particularly strongly affected by well, that's what let's see. Man, this has been rough. It's really tough one. But I think this commercial is definitely worth checking out, because I swear it's so. I was, the first time I saw it, I was busting out laughing, and I think they not only got the message across and they made it funny, but they really got. I mean, this is like almost believable. It was like a superhero movie in some regards. I swear, they hit the tone perfect. They hit the issues. They hit the problems. Which, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, when it comes to the homeless population, we've been hearing from one of the things Nick Shirley said, which we'll touch on in a future episode, was one of the reasons they like all those homeless down there, and I'm sure Zoran is learning this as well, or maybe he already knew, is because, all you got to offer them is just a few bucks or a bottle of Jack or a hamburger or whatever, and they'll sign whatever you want. They'll sign, they'll vote, they'll do whatever you want. Now, that sounds fucking disgusting as hell to me, but if you're a desperate as hell leftist scumbag who freaking hates Donald Trump more than you care about anything else, then, hey, that's fair game. We'll just use all these homeless people to sign some forms and say that they want this person for president. What could go wrong? But one thing that can't be hidden is that the cost of all this is societal decay and the absolute rot of not just the moral foundations of the country, but literal rot. For example, the title of the episode, there was, I believe the total was something like 1,800 pounds of human waste removed from one of the, I think it was the major park in the center of Los Angeles. I can't remember the name of the park, but or it may have just been on Skid Row. I'm not sure, but it was basically one of the biggest major hangouts, which that would be Skid Row. And when it was all said and done, after they had cleaned up all the shit, all the human shit, they had gathered, and I swear, I'm being honest here, almost 1 full ton of human shit from all the homeless living in Los Angeles. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about that being excusable for Democrat control forever, no questions asked. And anybody like Spencer Pratt or Steve Hilton that comes along and gets a funny idea about taking over, well, we'll just put a stop to that, won't we? This kind of absolute sickening. No, no, no. Um, mm, mm, mm. Man, this sucks. If I can't find this, I'm really gonna be disappointed. But okay, wait, hold on. I think if I go back, aha! Okay, let's close strong. It's not a super short video, but it's only about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes or so. So this should work pretty well. So without further ado, this is possibly the most epic political campaign ad I've ever seen in my life. Are you ready for this? All right, here we go. Let's check this out and let's enjoy this. Oh, come on.
As long as the machine rules California, nothing will ever change.
The homelessness problem continues to worsen in California.
Gas prices in the state have reached a record high. Another local favorite has closed down in Santa Monica.
Things have just gotten so expensive. I don't know if we can continue living here. We just want someone, anyone, to hear us.
Okay, we've got to figure out this governor thing. I'd do it forever, but it's my turn to be president. Bring in the machine.
The Democratic nominee is Javier Becerra.
Huh? The Biden guy who lost all those kids?
Can't be right. Run it again.
Becerra.
Becerra, welcome. The machine picked you.
The machine?
Thing we created to make sure nothing ever changes. As long as you submit to the machine, you don't have to do anything.
Nothing? I can do that.
That's Javier Becerra for him. That's how he pulled a Biden.
I believe all the things that Newsom believed. 4 more years. 4 more years.
So, what do you think? It went well?
That was worse than...
Who else is tired of the highest taxes in the country? The highest gas prices in the country? The worst homelessness in the country? This is our state, not the machines! That's what we're fighting for!
Okay, you ready for the showdown? Here we go.
Do not resist.
I love the January.
Nobody's ever stood up to the machine before.
Oh no! Oh, it's badass.
Time to take California back!
Can we get Swalwell back? Run it again.
Get Swalwell back. Oh, if only. And obviously, from what I heard about that ahead of time, that was on behalf of Spencer Pratt's team for his election, working alongside Steve Hilton has been in contact with Spencer Pratt, and they've been kind of working together. And I think they kind of clicked, and the consensus among them was that one of us has to at least pull out with something. One of us has to have a chance to do something. And while it still seems incredibly slim that anything could get past the ridiculous amount of Democrat control that this state has. I mean, they have an iron fist on this state. But if if you actually do look at the people and you look at the way that public sentiment is starting to kind of recognize that when dumb things happen, like when whole forests burn down and leads to, you know, people losing their homes in massive, expensive areas in the state, and it was very predictable based on winds that happen, you know, regularly every year, and you know, instead of being prepared, they just, oh, we don't have any water. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. Like, people start to recognize something is, even the people who would be last to believe that that there'd be any kind of willful action taken to harm the population, even if it was politically expedient, they wouldn't do that. People are starting to kind of come around to the idea that, wow, maybe these people are actually not at all concerned about our well-being. You think? But anyway, when I saw that, I was just like, that is, oh, beautiful, just absolutely beautiful, and it reminds me of I wish so bad that Larry Elder could have had an actual election attempt, but he wasn't just the candidate in a recall election, but he was actually a candidate on the ballot for election for governor, because I think Larry Elder was another guy. I love Steve Hilton. I think he's just about the same up there. But I swear, I think when I heard Larry Elder talk, he's always been somebody I've had a huge amount of respect for, because when you hear his history and his upbringing and his family story, and just the hardship, and on top of that, sort of the constant work ethic he's had. Not to mention the fact that he is someone who basically sounds like he's willing to go down with the ship if he has to, because he just loves the state so much. He can't see himself going anywhere else, and I can't help but be so respectful of that. It's really inspiring to see too. But Steve Hilton, I remember watching some of his segments on Fox when he had his show there, and it was like, it felt similar too. You could hear the frustration and the anger that he had when he was talking about how beautiful California used to be, how much of a state it represented. You know, it really did represent freedom. Now they take away menthol cigarettes, and they take away almost as many different firearms as Massachusetts does. Not quite as many, but pretty close. And it's just like, so when you see Gavin Newsom with these ridiculous commercials about how we still believe in freedom in California. Oh, we do we? What kind of freedom is that? Because that's not what it looks like to me. But, you know, hey, if that's your political message, go with it. But it's stupid. Anyway, sorry for being a little out of it, but I'm just glad to be back. I just want to push through on this one, and next one I'll be prepared a little bit more, I promise. But damn, this was a long time coming, and it's good to fucking finally have a show back. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really gonna be trying to do some more stuff lately, because this has been, like I said, it's been a really, really, really rough couple of weeks now. So so I will try my best to be on as soon as possible. Tomorrow I do have a sort of middle of the day appointment with a doctor's appointment, so I will. I have no idea when it'll be over. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know exactly. I mean, it's a new doctor, so I don't know exactly where I'm even going. But we'll see how it goes, and if not by tomorrow, then hopefully by Wednesday. But I really do want to make sure that we get back to at least a couple episodes a week, because that was my goal for a while, and then we dropped off the map. And at least I'm back. At least I got it back. I'm back on now. got that much at least, so we're doing at least okay. But either way, I will be doing my best to be back, to be on at least a little bit more than I was before, and hopefully that leads to a little bit more time. But regardless, thank you guys, as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. It makes it so much more rewarding to do it. So thanks again. I will see you guys on the next one. So until then, take care of yourselves and have a great one. Peace.
5, 4, 3. That's tomorrow, and that is it. Again. 5, 4, 3. That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.